Yo, it's your boy Nixie coming back with another bullseye of a tutorial here today on the channel. I wanted to drop the Yeat vocal tutorial. If you guys do like this preset, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and also drop more suggestions for artists down below if you like what we're doing. So let's not waste no time. Let's go and let's break down how to get these Yeat vocals.
We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man, every time I jump I am. Ha. We so mad, them devils call me him. They call me God, cause I as high as him. We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man, every time I jump I am. Ha. We so mad, them devils call me him. They call me God, cause I as high as him. We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man, every time I jump I am. Ha. We so mad, them devils call me him. They call me God, cause I as high as him.
Okay, so we got it sounding exactly like Yeat. I love how Yeat's vocal is very unique. You know, his vocal incorporates a lot of digital distortion. And I think that digital distortion, whether it be analog or actual like digital distortion from certain plugins, if done correctly, it can be a very beautiful, artistic type of thing. So let's look at, you know, Yeat's vocal characteristics. So with Yeat's vocal, you know, especially with his auto-tune, it feels like his voice is like a boiling pot, like a tea on the kettle. It feels like Yeat's voice is bubbling up. So that's kind of what I would consider his voice to be. He has a bubbly voice, you know. He sounds like he's like quacking a little bit, you know what I mean? Or he's like underwater, he's drowning a little bit with Yeat's type of vocal. So in order to enhance something like that, we're using this auto-tune right here. We're using the smallest humanized to really start to enhance those pops and clicks and those natural mouth movements inside of Yeat's voice. Also a little bit of flex tune. I like it a lot because it brings out some of that low level detail. I don't use it all the time, but with somebody like Yeat's vocal where he is bubbling a lot with his vocal and what, you know, his mouth is filling up with air, I like to use a little bit of a higher flex tune. And then the retune speed is decent, nothing too crazy. It doesn't sound robotic. It still sounds fast enough to where you hear the tune, but still musical.
We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man, every time I jump I am. Ha. We so mad, them devils call me him. They call me God, cause I am.
So Yeat's vocal is very jagged. I would say it reminds me of a puffer fish underwater or something like that. You know, that's kind of like how his vocal sounds like. So let's bring the preset in and out.
We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man, every time I jump I am. Ha. We so mad, them devils call me him. They call me God, cause I as high as him. We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man, every time I jump I am. Ha. We so mad, them devils call me him. They call me God, cause I am.
Okay, so you also see we have the ad-lib sounding exactly like Yeat as well, and we're gonna break that down all here today. If you like the preset, check it in the link down below. So I'm gonna bypass every single plugin in and out, and then after that, we're gonna hear, you know, we're gonna talk about every plugin in depth. So let's get to it. Come on, let's go.
We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man, every time I jump I am. Ha. We so mad, them devils call me him. They call me God, cause I as high as him. We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man, every time I jump I am. Ha. We so mad, them devils call me him. They call me God, cause I as high as him. We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man, every time I jump I am. Ha. We so mad, them devils call me him. They call me God, cause I as high as him. We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man, every time I jump I am. Ha. We so mad, them devils call me him. They call me God.
Okay, so most important with somebody like Yeat, or like with Yeat's vocal, it reminds me of a gray cloud, especially even the theme of the actual music video for Bigger Than Everything. It's very gray and very cloudy. So as an engineer, you got to understand this stuff because the people who mix these music and make these creative decisions, they have the basic understanding of theme. What's the theme? What's the theme of the party? Is it a pool party? Is it a Halloween party? Is it a costume party? What type of party it is? That's how you got to think before you start to dress up the goddamn vocal. You already understand that when you go to a certain party, you got to know the theme so you know how to dress. You feel me? So that's the thing about it. I use the SSLG because for me, it's literally great. And in the video with Yeat, bigger than everything, literally the goddamn clouds are great. So obviously that's the tone of the vocal for this song is a very gray, very gritty, very, kind of ruffled up type of, paper being crumbled up, paper ball type of vocal that he has. So I love the SSLG because it's very gritty. And of course the threshold is turned all the way up. Even if I didn't do no compression, just turn this threshold all the way up will bring in a little bit of that VCA circuitry that will help bring a little bit of snap that's really good for somebody like Yeat as his voice is bubbling and clicking and popping. A little bit of that type of saturation, that distortion helps Yeat. So after that, we rolling off some bottom. I think Yeat's voice is not deep, but it's very like low mid type bass. So I don't want it to feel a little bit of like it's got like a swine flu or a common cold. You feel me? I want to give the vocals some Robitussin, some NyQuil by cutting up a little bit of the low mid.
We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man, every time I jump I am. Ha. We so mad, them devils call me him. They call me God, cause I as high as him. We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man.
And of course, I'm actually using a little bit of the SSL gate, and I'm really tightening up. Like I'm really using, a good amount of the gate with a fast release as well to help the vocals start to wiggle around a little bit. I'm applying a little bit of baby oil to the vocal so it can slip and slide a little bit better because that's Yeat's vocal character. The blah, 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 blah. Okay, so after that, essentially we have a de-esser. I'm boosting with the red band going into the, to the de-esser right here, and for me that's really just adjusting the high end of Yeat's vocal and starting to grab a lot of that character, a lot of that high end information.
We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man, every time I jump I am. Ha. We so mad.
A lot of times rappers like Yeat, Soul Fago, Zay, I'm gonna Jace is his name. I'm gonna do a vocal preset for all of them boys. But a lot of times those type of rappers, they come up to the microphone really closely and they just they mumble pretty much, there's nothing wrong with that. They just catching their vibe. That's how they rap. I still fuck with their music. So that's the thing about it, I like to use the de-esser kind of somewhat aggressively on those type of vocals because I know the proximity of the rapper is closer. That's the type of shit you got to think about as an engineer, looking at the rapper when they rap. Just don't be hunched back like the hunchback of Notre Dame on the computer. Like you got to look at the rapper in like the position of where he's on the microphone because that's going to tell you the processing of how you got to go about it. Maybe if the person comes up a little bit too close to the microphone, you might have to get aggressive on the low end. You don't want to mess up the vibe of the rapper vibe and you're rapping into the microphone the wrong way. That might kill the vibe and everything. So observe the rapper. Look at the rapper's body language too. It could tell you if you fuck with the take or not. After that, C4 multi-band, I'm using this Pac rock vocal preset to add a little bit of aggression to Yeat.
We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man, every time I jump I am. Ha. We so mad, them devils call me him. They call me God, cause I as high as him. We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man, every time I jump I am.
I adjusted these two bands right here and you see the curve is kind of different. I usually use the pop vocal preset, which is a little bit more jagged because Yeat's vocal is already a snack, crackling, popping Rice Krispies type of situation. I don't want it to be too overwhelming for the listener. I don't want it to be too much like a rose with too much thorns on it. So, I smoothed it out a little bit, especially like with the way the bands are shaped and everything. So this multi-band compressor right here, you hear it's kind of like flattening out the mid-range of Yeat's vocals, kind of clearing things up, adding a little bit of brightness, adding a little bit of forwardness. After that, we have something like the Kramer Pi compressor, and this is a pulse wave modular compressor, I believe. So it was used by Eddie Kramer back in the day when he was, working with Jimi Hendrix. And of course, Yeat loves talking about drugs, so obviously Jimi Hendrix loves talking about drugs. I'm gonna use the same compressor that they use on Jimi Hendrix type of vocal because that sound is familiar, for that greedy type of drug, type of music. So that's why I used it. My understanding of who the fuck the producer was and how I'm gonna apply it to my music. All right. So most important thing here is that this is a very gritty compressor. The fastest release time a lot of these analog compressors, if you see an older compressor, the fastest release is kind of generally slow. It's kind of like 100 milliseconds, which compared to a modern compressor, that's very slow. You know, some of these Fab Filter Pro C, those ones move a lot faster. So most important thing right here is adding a little bit of grit, a little bit of bite to Yeat's vocal, and that really starts to help it cut through the mix.
We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man, every time I jump I am. Ha. We so mad, them devils call me him. They call me God, cause I as high as him. We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man, every time I jump I
And I'm using this plugin primarily for my output volume too, so I understand that this plugin has a certain way that it sounds going on the way out, so I purposely, you know, made it louder. I'm using the components of this compressor to my advantage to get that gritty Yeat sound, okay? So that's the easy way you can do that. Just understanding something like an 1176 is gritty, understanding something like an LA2A is smooth, bumping, and bright because it has tubes in it. Understanding the parts inside of these plugins can make it so much easier for you to just be like, oh, I just got to turn up a little bit of this volume on this plugin because I know what character it's gonna give me. I know what type of filter is gonna add onto the picture. I know what type of, you know, type of emojis is gonna add into the text box. You feel me? So after that J37 tape, I like to use this on a Yeat vocal because at that point it's adding a little bit of analog distortion. So I like to go back and forth between analog and digital distortion. Analog distortion, smoothing things out. Digital distortion makes things a little bit harder. They make things a little bit like a pepper, a little bit more spicy. But you can use that to your advantage to get a sound like Yeat, you feel me? Because Yeat's vocal is like digitally distorted, but not overly digitally distorted to where it feels lifeless, okay?
We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man, every time I jump I am. Ha. We so mad, them devils call me him. They call me God, cause I as high as him. We so mad, like devils on our head.
Yeah, so just really adding a little bit of warmth to Yeat's vocal. After that, we have this REQ, rolling off some bottom, rolling off some mid-range, boosting a little top. And of course, I like to use the high, a really high cut all the way in the ceiling, all the way in the attic of the vocal, all the way up there, because, you know, doing something as simple as this starts to focus the high end. It starts to take a Sharpie, it starts to take like a pen and underlines like the high end of the vocal, right? So it becomes really focused, right?
We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man, every time I jump I am. Ha. We so mad, them devils call me him. They call me God, cause I as
Similarly to the low end, there's also stuff like, you know how they say, oh, you gotta cut out all this stuff that you can't hear because it's taking out you know, mud or whatever bullshit these YouTubers say, right? There's also some like, you know, dead noise in the high end that you cannot even hear as a human. So sometimes when you take out that high end noise, that I call it the mosquito frequency, you know, like that, you know, when you hear a mosquito, it's like such a high end type of thing that you can't really hear until it gets really close. You know, just cutting off a little bit of that top end can start to help focus it, you know, so it makes it easier to hear the articulation in the vocal character. So fresh air on Yeat, okay, and this is helping it sound mainstream.
we so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man, every time I jump I am. Ha. We so mad, them devils call me him. They call me God, cause I as high as him. We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man, every time I jump I am. Ha. We so mad, them devils come.
All right, so after that we have a de-esser, just to make sure it's like a stopgap from having the vocals become overly bright, and then we have a RVox to give presence. Actually just to use it as a gate, and that's pretty much it. I ain't even use the RVox to compress. That's the thing. That's how you get a Yeat vocal to sound big, is by having a lot of those transients. You feel me? Like the more transients that you, pretty much when you compress, you start to lose your transients. It starts to be like Pac-Man to the transients. It starts to gobble up the transients, which are like the that's all the transients, you know, those are the first gust of air that is coming from the rapper's mouth. So the more compressing you do, the compression is like Pac-Man, where it's eating it up. It's like hungry hippo is eating up all the vocal characters, eating up all the wind from the vocal. So the vocal will start to feel like a pancake on Sunday morning. It'll start to become a little flat if you over compress. So that's how you get Yeat's vocal to sound so big, because there's not too much compression going on. After that, we have metaflanger and a little bit of an H delay, and all of this stuff right here is really just to help grease up the delay.
We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man every time I jump I am. We so mad, them devils call me him. They call me God.
So yeah, that's why we're using that delay. After that, we have EQ going into a reverb, and I use a spring reverb because Yeat's vocal is very dirty. So I want the lead vocal to be clean, but I still want to maintain that dirt. You feel me? I don't want to over apply the dirt. It's like I'm creating a garden and I'm picking how much, a manure I'm putting into the ground. I'm picking how much shit I'm throwing on the vocal. You feel me? Type stuff. So it's a situation where I'm using the spring reverb. A spring reverb is a reverb that's made from springs. It's usually boingy. It's really lo-fi type of brassy type of sound. So I'm using that here on Yeat's vocal on purpose because my lead vocal is kind of clean now. I'm giving them the dirt through the reverb. So sometimes you don't have to make the lead vocal clean. Sometimes you can make the effects clean and the lead vocal dirty and do like kind of like a, in elementary school, compare and contrast type of chart type shit, so you get a better understanding when you comparing and contrasting bright to dark, when you contrasting east to west, up to down. You feel me? It makes it easier for you to understand, the listener to understand where everything is at. And then after that, we have a little bit of S1 imager, tightly packing it in there.
We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man every time I jump I am. We so mad, them devils call me him. They call me God, cause I is high.
Yeah, so I appreciate using something like a spring reverb. And then after that, we have the doubler, rolling off a little bit of bottom before it goes into this. And this doubler, I prefer to use it a lot lately because this doubler adds a little bit of that dirt compared to like doubler 2 or a little micro shift. This has one of adding like a little nasty like flanger, phaser. And when you put like a flanger or a phaser underneath the auto tune, it kind of like makes the auto tune a little bit smoother. It makes it invisible. It's like if I took my hands and I started moving them so quick like this, like you wouldn't even see it. Like that's kind of how I see it. This is like the auto tune on the vocal, and this is the flanger, right? And it's moving behind it so quickly to the point where you lose a sense of the image. Like if somebody moved two stuff in front of you like quickly, you wouldn't be able to see it. So it's like I'm doing the same shit except for with my ears. The auto tune is wavy, it's moving up and down, each voice bubbling and all that shit like that. So that's that first movement. But then the flanger is, also got some stuff going on with like the detune and the stereo and the quick delay and the feedback and shit. And it's pretty much canceling it out.
We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man every time I jump I am. We so mad, them devils call me him. They call me God, cause I as high as him.
Yeah, so you can start to see how it makes the vocal kind of like into a situation where it's a sloppy Joe. It starts to get sloppy, but if you pull it back a little bit, it will really start to, kind of go invisible a little bit, make the auto tune even smoother. So I like to use phasers, flangers, and that specific doubler on my auto tune because it makes it smoother. After that, I'm using Magma BB tubes and I'm just using it as distortion. I'm pushing the Beast, Mr. Beast. I'm pushing that one. I'm pushing the Beauty as well, and I'm pushing that into a Waves MV2. So this is a situation where I done already got a little bit of analog distortion from my Kramer Pi. I done got a little bit of digital distortion at this point too from something like my doubler stomp as well. And at that point, I want to get a little bit more distortion because Yeat's vocals are extremely distorted. They're coming out of FL Studio and they hitting that FL Studio clipper hard, type shit. So I'm using the Waves MV2 to squeeze the vocal. I'm taking all of the ground level pretty much like an earthquake. I'm taking the ground and I'm pushing that shit upwards. And I'm taking the top, the sky, and I'm making it fall. I'm bringing it down, so I'm crushing it. And all this distortion right here is helping bring out those nasty clicks, pops, those artifacts, the shit that people say is bad. And yeah, I'm actually taking it and I'm blending it back in because it's helping it sound more like Yeat, the sound that you want.
We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man every time I jump I am. We so mad, them devils call me him. They call me God, cause I as high as him. We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man every time I jump I am. We so mad, them devils call me him. They call me God.
So pay attention when I bring in that MV2. Now you starting to hear the ground. Literally, the ground noise is starting to come upwards, and now the vocals starting to bubble and shake a little bit more. And that's Yeat's fucking sound, bruh. That's literally his sound. Is like distortion and ground noise and clicks and pops and all these different type of artifacts, but it's done in a very musical way. So shout out to them engineers. Shout out to VOCALS too, his beat maker, dope ass motherfucker. And last thing we have right here is Yeat's ad libs, and you know, to get that ad lib sound specifically, it sounded like a vocal synthesizer with a little bit of pitch. There's a plugin from Waves called VOCALS that you can use. I think I used that same exact preset that Yeat used on another song I mixed for somebody, for a female artist. Her name is Kenny McKay. It's KINEMCKAY. Goyard Pouch. If you look that song up on YouTube, you will hear I used a Ovox preset on her ad libs to get that same type of sound that Yeat got, but I wasn't able to find that preset again. So I just used a Waves vocal bender pretty much type shit. And yeah, this is the sound of the ad libs, the SSLG to, you know, kind of roll off all the stuff we don't need, like the low end, and just pushing a little bit of top, using a limiter to flatten out the ad libs. Using the RVox as well to get a little compression, a little bit of gate to tighten it up, using a little bit of this EQ right here. Let's listen to them ad-libs real fast.
We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man, every time I jump I am. Ha. We so mad, them devils call me him. They call me God, cause I as high as him.
Yeah, so that's the most important type of thing too. We have a L1 limiter, just crushing it even more, a panini pressing it, you know, squeezing it down like a sandwich or something like that, sandwiching the ad-libs. Okay, so nothing crazy with the reverb, just like a hall reverb, man. Nothing crazy, man. That man, they don't really be doing nothing crazy on these songs, bruh. I feel like these FL Studio YouTubers, oh my God. Every time I gotta get on them niggas, man. Them niggas don't know shit about mixing, boy. Niggas just be sitting here trying to act like they know what's going on. And I be having a problem with it because it's like, yo, y'all boys is not that much, like, y'all the same age as me, really. But it's like, when I started YouTube, I was like, man, I don't know shit, bro. Like, I don't know shit about mixing like that. Like, this was before I even dropped the video. I was like, man, let me not even drop no videos because I don't know. Let me not talk. You feel me? I feel like a lot of people who talk about like Yeat, like those YouTube channels, I feel like they don't know shit about mixing. Like they can't even explain the preset or nothing like that. They be like, oh yeah, I just okay, next thing. Like, nah, this is like a real actual Yeat tutorial. I'm breaking down his voice with all his stuff. So, you know, shout out to everybody who's gonna show some support. Using this as a parallel compressor, the SSLG is adding a lot of density.
We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man, every time I jump I am. Ha. We so
let's take in and out the vocal bender.
We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man, every time I jump I am. Ha. We so mad, them devils call me him. They call me God, cause I as high as him. We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man, every time I jump I am. Ha.
We so mad, them devils call me him. They call me God, cause I'm as high as him. We so mad, like devils in our head. Under man, every time I drop I am. We so mad.
Okay, so yeah, that's the thing about the ad-libs. We used a little bit of pitch bender and then a chorus stop at the end, and this chorus stomp is affecting everything, the reverb, the vocal bender, and this is really starting to wash it out and make everything wobble. It gives it a little bit more depth. Okay, so last thing I wanted to talk about too at Yeat's vocal that none of these people ever talk about, these dumbass FL Studio YouTubers, is what the fuck is going on with FL Studio under the hood. Bro, FL Studio is a great DAW, bro. But the reason why it's a great DAW is because of the dithering. It has a certain type of sound to it. When you put in some tracks into FL Studio, it's not gonna sound like Pro Tools because it has 16-bit dithering in it, my nigga. So if you're using a different DAW, you can use something like Goodhertz to bring in some 16-bit dithering, and this just kind of makes it like the whole mix mashed potatoes a little bit more.
We so mad, like devils in our head. I under man, every time I drop I am. We so mad, them devils call me him. They call me God, cause I'm as high as him. We so mad, like devils in our head. I under man, every time I drop I am. We so mad, them devils call me him. They call me God.
It's funny because these people who work in FL Studio, they don't even know what the fuck the DAW is doing, bro. They couldn't even explain that. Let me stop though, because this is how you really get that FL Studio sound outside of FL Studio, hitting it with a little 16-bit dithering. You hear the bass don't even sound the same no more. It sounds a little, it kind of moves. That's what that dithering do. And another great thing that Yeat uses to get his vocal sound, he's using something like a clipper. You could use whatever the hell type of clipper you want to. Me personally, I like to use Tokyo Dawn Labs limiter number 6. But you could also use something like Fire the Clip from Acoustic Audio. You could use Standard Clip. There's a bunch of different clippers, but pretty much the clipper, it pretty much does like a clipper. The whole song comes into the master fader or whatever signal you want to send into the clipper, and it says, hey, you need a haircut? Okay, boom, takes out the scissors, clips it. You feel me? That's what it's doing to the waveform. And most importantly, I use the clipper to generate distortion on my mixes, to make it sound even more distorted. So look how, something like a clipper will affect a vocal. It'll bring more distortion to the Yeat vocal. And that's really what's going on when you do songs in FL Studio and you put the soft clipper on the master fader. If you don't put the soft clipper on the master fader, I'm pretty sure it's not going to do that. It's just you'll get the dithering, right? But if you put the clipper, this is what's gonna happen to your stuff. It's gonna add that distortion. That's how Yeat, Ken Carson, all these people who rap over these rage beats, that's how they get that sound.
We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man, every time I jump I am. Ha. We so mad, them devils call me him. They call me God, cause I as high as him. We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man, every time I jump I am. Ha. We so mad, them devils call me him. They call me God, cause I as high as him. We so mad, like devils on our head. I'm under man, every time I jump I am. Ha. We so mad, them devils call me him. They call me God, cause I as high as him.
So yeah, using something like a clipper is starting to reshape. It's kind of giving it's kind of being like a barber. It's giving the vocal a tape. It depends. I put it on the master fader though. So if you did that with a whole beat and everything like that, it would affect the 808 and the kick and all that stuff like that, and we'll start to like reshape it and shit. But that's what makes it start to sound wavy. After you do all that modulation and all that, the delay and then the Yeat with his actual voice and the auto tune crumpling up to get that Yeat vocal, it's literally a whole goddamn process. So, pretty much this was the end of the tutorial here today with my Yeat Masterclass. Okay, class is out of session. I just want to say thank you very much for being a great part of my YouTube family. I tried to break down every single thing about Yeat. This is all you need to know. This is the best Yeat tutorial ever. Simple as that. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to, if you're interested in the template, check the pin link down below. This is the whole guide that you need to use that template to get that dope Yeat sound. And I just want to say thanks a lot for being a great part of my YouTube family. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate y'all now. Peace.